Now, about 4 years ago was the first time that I ever got on a plane. And I gotta tell you, chat, I was pretty nervous. So I decided to actually look up and see, how often the plane crash happens. Because I'm a very paranoid individual and I like researching a lot of stuff that's on my mind. And as I'm looking at it, it seems that flying is one of the safest way to travel. Like when people say that, they're not saying it ironically. Like, no, it legit, right? And there were a couple of accidents that happened. Most of them not in Europe, not in the United States. Well, like some of them happened in China, some of them happened in India. There was like one where the pilot was an unhinged individual and crashed the plane on purpose. I think that was in Germany. So like, yeah, it did happen, but it was extremely rare. Now, as I'm looking at the news, I get to see more and more, not airplane crashes, but events. Like parts falling out from an airplane, the door just unsealing and depressurizing the cabin, like that type of stuff. And it's very concerning, right? Now, from my understanding, and this is what I've been talking with some of you subscribers that happen to work in the airplane industry, I was told that several years ago, Boeing decided to cut costs. And they fired a lot of people. They didn't replace them with anyone. They just fired them. And this is what allegedly I've been told, so take it with a grain of salt. And if this is true, then it's not because of diversity, inclusivity, and equity. Because it takes a couple of years for the planes to actually get put into use and then start to malfunction. So the fruits of diversity, inclusivity, and equity are going to be seen 5 years from now. Right? Like 5 years from now, I assume that Boeing is going to be a much better company because all of the diversity, equity, and inclusivity, I've been told, is going to phenomenally increase the company, both in offering you a cheaper flight and also a more safer one, right? Sure. However, what is going on with the current situation, right? Now, apparently, there have been a couple of whistleblowers that wanted to come forward and discuss about how Boeing was skipping costs, how they were skipping on safety. And the first one, right before he was about to go to court and talk about these things, he ended up, allegedly, committing suicide. Like, very bizarre, like, if you have a life goal, which is to rat on the company that you work at, why would you do it like literally the day before, and you're not leaving a letter, you're not leaving anything? But okay, I suppose, if the mainstream media is telling me that it happened, I suppose it must have happened. Who am I to disagree? But now it seems that there's another guy that was a whistleblower, and he also passed away. Apparently, he died after a short illness. And he is the second one to die this year. I love the fact that the mainstream media has to mention this year. I don't know if this is a journalist that's writing it this way. Like, how many of them passed away last year? Jesus. He was a 45-year-old man, former quality auditor at Boeing. And apparently he wanted to expose some serious and gross misconduct by senior quality management of the 737 production line. In 2018 and 2019, 2 of the 737 that he was involved in fatal crashes, which ended up with the death of 346 people. Dean was fired by Spirit in 2023 and filed a complaint with the Department of Labor alleging that his termination was in retaliation for the safety concerns. According to the Seattle Times, he was hospitalized after having trouble breathing, and he was intubated and developed pneumonia and a serious infection before passing away 2 weeks later. He passed away yesterday morning, and his absence will be deeply felt. Apparently, he spent more than 3 decades at Boeing and told the New York Times in 2019 that he had found clusters or metal silvers hanging over the wiring of flight controls that could have caused, according to him, catastrophic damage if they penetrated the wires. He literally alleged that management had ignored his complaints and moved him to another part of the plant. He told Congress that there was no safety culture at Boeing and alleged that employees who raised the alarm are ignored, marginalized, threatened, sidelined, Worse, he said he fears physical violence after going public with his concerns. The U.S. regulatory are now investigating Boeing after a mid-air door panel blowout in January, and Boeing 737 MAX 9, Reuters reported last month that the Justice Department is now weighing in whether Boeing violated an agreement that shielded the plane maker from criminal prosecution over fatal crashes. Okay, here's my question. And this is a legit question. I know that some of you guys that listen to me happen to have jobs in the financial department. And you guys have more money than me, so you probably invest in stocks. I never invested in stocks. Ever. Because I don't have the cash to do so. But hypothetically speaking, this is like a legit question that I want to ask those of you that do invest in stocks. So ignore Boeing for a while. Ignore like all of this. We're talking purely hypothetical. Let's say there's a company which can cut costs by skipping on safety. And let's assume that every single time a whistleblower comes out, bad things happen to the whistleblower. Now, I'm not saying the company does anything. Like, maybe there's black magic involved. Maybe there's bad judo, bad luck. But it's like, you notice that the stars align and there's this, like, ominous fate on whomever comes in to report of what the company is doing. Would you say you should invest in that company? I mean, if you're a company that, you know, hypothetically could get away with a lot of stuff, would you say that that is a good investment? Like, would their stocks rise or plummet? I'm generally curious. Again, I'm not talking about Boeing here. I'm just like, you know, like a hypothetical company that does certain things that may even be illegal, but every single time, like, someone tries to report on them, every single time someone tries to blow the whistle, bad things happen to that person. Again, I'm not saying that is the company. I'm not saying it's Agent 47. I'm not saying any of that. All I'm asking is, like, would that company perform well on the stock market? Again, I'm not suggesting anyone invest money into anything. No. It's just like, for me. You know, it's a question that I would personally prefer to know the answer. Like, all ethics aside, speaking from a purely cynical point of view, that no right or wrong, like just looking at the financial aspect of it. Anyway, I'm generally curious to know what you guys think, because I know some of you do work at Wall Street. I know that some of you work in high places, so I'm genuinely curious, unironically so. So do let me know what you think, and if you want to support the channel for whatever reason, I don't know why you would, but there is an opportunity for you to do so. There is a link to my Patreon and another link to my Subscribestar. And I guarantee to you, you are definitely going to get the best buyer's remorse that the internet can offer. So, I'll see you guys later. Take care.